Greetings, it is I, King Coin, and I would like to welcome you into the reformed segment that I have made called Greeting and Advice Giving with King Coin. Now, the concept is still the same one that has been before. You are asking for advice in the chat, and I am giving to you. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but where does the greeting, sticks with all of this? You see, as I was studying humans, I saw that a lot of humans like to give advice while there is a presence of a grilling situation. I mean that the grill, you sit around the grill or the fire, with grilling in the classical sense. Actually no, the classical sense would be the fire, wouldn't it? Anyway, the point is, I saw them that they were sitting around and they were discussing the issues while they were grilling. So I thought that maybe this is like some kind of ceremonial thing. I wasn't able to find much on this subject. Kind of fortunate, if you ask me, because if anything, I think that it's a great idea. Like for example, grabbing a piece of meat, putting it on this fire or in a grill, and discussing what issues there have been while eating and enjoying some meat. Now maybe I thought to myself that I heard this theory that some biologists said that because the ancestors of humans were eating meat, and especially bone marrow, they were able to develop the brains and then later on evolve into what we call humans nowadays. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but I thought that it would sound like a good idea. Maybe it would be a little bit more welcoming. Now, I thought that was a good idea, so I decided to try it. Anyway, as I have said before, if you haven't catched my previous advice giving streams, it's basically simple. All you have to do is type what concerns you in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this in pod, and then I will try to keep my best to give you advice, because a king is not about ruling or commanding armies, it's also about solving problems. You might say governing is a part of it, but it's all more about being in touch with the common folk, and that's what I'm doing today. Now, several channel news. You may be seeing me right now. I had downloaded several games which I want to play, because you see, I wanted to, or rather, let me go a few places back. I was playing RTS games and strategy games previously. I mean, RTS are strategy games, but I talk about turn-based strategy games. And I was commanding armies, conquering stuff, maybe not with the best efficiency. Yeah, that happens if it burns. It's okay, throw it to the plant and you're all good. Now, I was commanding armies, not with the best efficiency, but we were successful. And I thought, while I was away, for other reasons, not just for the summoning pool cancel that I came, summoning pool is a place that I came from, and they have of course a council that decides several things. Not only for that, also because I had to move around a little bit. I tried to find a more permanent place to be. I still continue to borrow internet, so nice. Some mistakes may happen. Perfect, nice. Some mistakes may happen. Double click it. I didn't know that. Anyway. That's perfect. Yeah, okay. I'll take it. Anyway. Yeah, so I had to load several games where I want to try to experience how it is to build stuff for humans, infrastructure, quality of living, that kind of stuff. I end up with 3 categories, 3 kind of games actually. But I had a problem, you see. I tried the first one on the stream, which was Stacklands, for example, and the game was running alright on my computer and everything else, but you see, there were some problems with OBS. The CPU use was really high. I was wondering why that was happening, because it's not that they are heavy games. The laptop that I have found somewhere and now I'm using to stream can handle them perfectly. They don't have that much problems. I can run fine, nicely, smoothly. But it turns out that there was some problem. So I tried to investigate it. I thought that everything would be alright, and that I would be able to stream in the weekend, but it wasn't. I couldn't exactly figure out what it was. So I was trying and I was trying and I was trying, and I'm like, I don't get it. It's not heavy on the CPU. It's not heavy. It doesn't consume that much RAM. So I was totally confused until I realized that it wasn't a RAM or a CPU problem. It was a graphics problem. You see, the graphics aren't that heavy, but they are, let's say, specific quality. They can't go lower, they can't go higher. They can't go higher. They are in specific quality. They're standard. That's what it is. You can control it. And those graphics were kinda heavy for my graphic card, and that was causing problems with the OBS. Now, you might say, was it that bad? Well, if you think about it, I couldn't really stream anything with some sort of quality because the encoding was overloaded, and it's unfortunate, but I don't think I will be able to stream those games anymore. So if you're interested, I would like to tell you about these games because they were really fun, and there was something in all of those 3 that caught my interest, and I would like to investigate those things together. You see, the first one that was called Stacklands, which I did try to stream. Stacklands is a card game, but It's a card game in which you are building a village or a community of humans. You start building with cards, you gather resources using the cards, and of course you try to gather the resources so that the humans are fed, they have weapons to defend themselves, there are enough humans in order to manage the rising problems that may occur. Then of course you also have to make sure that you gather enough gold so that you can either buy new packs, which packs will allow you to get resources or ideas in order to craft stuff using your resources, or use the money in order to pay some carriages that may come in order to get some items. I thought it was a good game, building while using cards, and I like card games, to tell you the truth. And trying to build a community, make them safe, have enough resources, all the while trying to keep your cards stacked in a nice way and avoid several troubles. Now, there are some creative ways to avoid trouble, there are some usual ways to avoid trouble, but what I learned was that there are not an infinite amount of cards that you can have on your, let's say, table each and every night, or rather week, and that there was a limit, and for that limit to increase, you need to build in specific buildings, gathering resources. So I thought that was nice, some limits, but also there's freedom on how you're gonna place your cards, what you're going to build, but of course you also have to run, you have to make sure that you have enough resources so that the humans that you have are all alive and well fed. Now, it was a very nice game, I really like it, I really like how it combined resource management with cards, and of course crafting as well, very easily, but I'm afraid I don't think I will be able to stream it, which is sad, but at the same time, what can we do? The next one was a game called Mini Motorways. It's a game that allows you to build motorways. You have houses, or rather you have buildings and other buildings, and the cars want to go from building A to building B, and you are building the way from which the cars will go. It's a simple draw a line and delete lines game, but the basic principle is that you will have more resources as time goes on. You have bridges, you have interways, the exits that go around, from the motorways, all that stuff. Then of course you have traffic lights in order to manage traffic and all that. But trying to, get cars to go places. A really nice game. It's more puzzly in nature, but I like that. I don't have any problem with puzzle games. So I just want to, try this out. Show my puzzle solving skills, but that one will also not be able to run in OBS. So there's not much that we can do about that. Then the next game was one that had a very good title. It was called Dorf Romantic with a K at the end. The purpose of the game was to take the variety of tracts of land. You have your forests, you had water, pools of water, bodies of water, thank you very much. Fields, windmills, cities, houses, all that. And you were trying to build around using the hexagonal map that is provided, but you have challenges that you have to complete. Both challenges given by the game and sometimes challenges given by the tiles themselves. And you could do a variety of stuff. And you could unlock a variety of environments as well as you play, so that you can have different kind of environments. I thought it was a very interesting game. We would be discussing how would be the environment in which cities would also be around, not just the cities themselves, because you don't really build cities, you just build the environment that the world exists. And I thought it was a nice idea, but unfortunately that won't happen. And sad, but there we go. Stuff happens. That's more like it. Finally. So yeah, it's unfortunate. So I thought, hey, if I cannot play these new games, which are light on my computer, but for some reason I just can't around them, I thought to myself, you know what? I'm just gonna play the old games. The old games where your objective was to conquer lands or annihilate people. Okay, maybe annihilate is a little bit too harsh, but rather the objective is to, well, win. You have a squad that you win, you have an army or you win, the kind of stuff. So I have new games that are coming up, and I'm gonna play some of the old ones, like I'm gonna continue with Stronghold HD, for example. Oops. Yeah, you should be careful while agreeing and talking to people, otherwise your food may be burned. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm planning on playing on Stronghold HD. I don't think I'll continue on the Command & Conquer stuff, because it's not like I am that good. Trying to practice more, but I don't think I will go anywhere, because I like RTSs, I like them a lot, but I just, I'm just not that good at them. It happens. So that's one thing. So I have a series of old games, very old games. I mean, depending what your age is, but they're old. And I want to try with those. I don't think you will have any problem with the accounting of the OBS. The CPU will be just fine. But I mean, I have already put speed on ultra fast, but it's not really working. These games already a hassle for the PC, and I just don't get why PC. Well, it's a laptop, so it's not PC, but oh well. If you ask me why I say that, it's because I saw it online. I'm just a clone, so I know nothing. Now, as I was saying, I'm gonna check out several things, sorry about that. Yeah, well, I made a mistake. The game settings were right there. Well, it's gonna get lighter, at least, so there's that. So yeah, weird, huh? Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna play all these old games, and I'm going to conquer lands, and I'm going to defeat opponents, just like in King's Soul, by the way. Because hey, if the new games don't want me, then I guess it's more murder. Nothing we can do about it. This whole thing could have been perfected. I could have played games that are more creative in nature, but no, apparently I just have to kill things. You know what, I'm gonna try to take the GIF away from here and put myself back in. Maybe that will alleviate a little bit the CPU, but not by a lot, in order to make that much of a difference. Let me lock it away as well. So yeah, that's this, and that's that. This is me, this is King Coin. Happy to see you, if it's the first time. I am on it. I like chilling bits. Terribly sorry. Alright. I like chill bits. I have made several wraps. They're weird in nature, but I'll take it. Let me go to free mode real quick. But before that, let's try to turn off features. Now hopefully get the CPU less than 30%. It seems to be somewhat working. Phone needs glow, right? Now it's on 31. Things are looking not that good. Yeah, got enough those reflections. They sure are heavy. Yeah. Well, not really. Well, it's gonna be alright, it's gonna be alright. What can we do? Am I right? So, you know what? Let's turn everything on. Let's make this bigger so I can go away. Let's go into free mode. There are challenges in this game, yes. several things that you can do, faster or slower, and you will be timed on all of those things. You know what, I don't need this to be very big, but you do, so I hope you're able to see something at least. And let me bring chat back. Sorry if I didn't see anything, I was a little bit busy. Alright, everything's good. So what kind of advice I can give you while all these things are happening? Before, you know, that's perfect. That's perfect right there. Before, you know, someone comes up on chat and asks something. Well, if there's one thing, is that you shouldn't be, I've said before, no, what I've said before is that you shouldn't be afraid to try and try and try again. What I want to say today is that you shouldn't be afraid of failure. I know maybe I've said this before, like, for example, I have brought up my stream scuffs. I'm like, hey, okay, I continue on, I learn from it, and all that. But there's something else that I want to say, is that, okay, maybe there would be problems, like for now the coding is weird, and I don't think it's gonna go up ever. I mean, even if I was just streaming this game, the coding will always have problems. But you see, the thing is, so what? Oh, I just noticed something on the OBS. Now that we're talking about this, it says after stream to hub, and I should have made this one say this particular words: advice giving stream. A small mistake, right? Now it's just to fix it a little bit. Alright, that's good. A little bit of this. Excellent. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, see, there was a little bit of a problem, but we continue on and fixed it. So what I'm trying to say is that you don't necessarily have to do things perfectly. People will not necessarily like you just because you're able to put a good PowerPoint presentation. If anything, people will like you because you're either interesting to hear to or amusing to have fun with. So don't fret because you don't have a good portfolio for social interactions, or if because things may be, well, you may be called weird, for example, because not everything is proper, you know what I mean? What I think you should do is that you should focus a little bit on just, not necessarily just being you, because sometimes people take this quote and they consider it as a way to say there is nothing for me to fix, right? We all have flaws and we could be aware and try to reflect on them and try to improve. So I don't want to use this quote as a way for people to say there is no reason for me to fix several faults that I may have, but as in a way to say, how can I say this? Oops, that burned. As in a way to say that you just need to carry on, you know what I mean? No, and that is where I explain. You see, there is no reason for you to say that everything has to be perfect 100% of the time. That's just not possible. Instead, what you can do is you can go on, make your preparations, of course, have your contingency plans for each and every situation, and then, as the situation goes on, as the situations go, as everything flows, and maybe a problem arises, you try to fix it, right? There is no reason to, of course some people may be panicky, especially if a lot of eyes are on them, right? But there is not much that we can do. Some procedures can go faster, can be quicker. Some others cannot, so you just have to wait regardless. You can't wait faster, so all you have to do is just continue on normally. Because even if there are some procedures that cannot be quickened anymore, and they are, trust me, this stress will just make you lose your focus, and it will make you lose your ability to be able to progress in a right way. Assuming that there are certain steps in something that you want to do, for example, when you swim, and it's been a while since I've done that, by the way, I try to how can I say this? There are certain procedures, like you pick the game you're gonna play, you make the thumbnail, some people announce it on YouTube and other places, and then you just try to, begin with the stream, welcome the audience, engage with the audience, do whichever activity we have planned, interact with the crowd in the way that wasn't perfect. I have to do it again. Anyway, interact with the audience, try to do the activity that you have done before. So there are some steps in the way. Nothing, how can I say this? Nothing which is, written on stone. But certainly a lot of activities that have to happen in a stream, right? So you're thinking, okay, they have to be perfect. For example, avoid grammar mistakes, have a nice font, all of that. I don't want my mic to be sparking. I want the audience to have a good quality of the game, and all of that. But in my opinion, while those are correct, you should do those things, of course. If a problem arises, of course try to resolve it, but maybe we just have to, power through sometimes. I cannot have my GIF King Coin asset. What can I do? Just going to use a stable one. Does it deplete the CPU? Yeah, it did, but not by that much. But hey, what can we do? Now, of course, I don't want to stop this project, because I think it's a good idea, and people that are looking for advice aren't going to care that much about if the stream is, running smoothly. But let's see with number 5 and this one. But I'm flipping so hard the encoding is going to die. That's the way to do it, people. Flip the meat in the stove so fast that the OBS will die. I'm playing OBS on this, by the way. It's not my fault, it's OBS's, and I can prove it because they have this red thingy, and that red thingy is putting more heat and it's running the meat and I have on this grill. See, I did it again. It's OBS's fault. Anyway, yeah, so sometimes you have to power through. Maybe you won't be able to have the face cam anymore. What can we do? Just put a picture and continue on with your day. If I'm gonna walk, I'm gonna go with 4. So yeah, failure is the way that I think all of us, me as a coin, you humans, can learn. But in order to learn, you must also be willing to study. And what I mean by study in this case is to avoid making the same mistakes that we did again and again, but at the same time improving ourselves. How? By being critical of ourselves. Self-criticism is not a bad thing. I have mentioned this before in my previous advice giving streams. Do you have anything? Self-criticism can be a very good thing. That's weird. But you see, a lot of people avoid it. Why? Well, sometimes they just don't want to feel like they did something bad / wrong. I don't know. It happens. Some people go too heavy on self-criticism. They end up being their own worst enemy, like bashing themselves each and every day. Like, I did this very bad, it was very wrong, I should have done like that. It's very bad. I wish it was easier, but it's not. And that is the way that everyone that lives has to die. Now, as a coin, don't really have to worry about all of those things. But just because I don't have to worry, it doesn't mean that I cannot understand. And maybe that goes for humans as well. Just because we don't have to worry about troubles that other people have, doesn't mean that we cannot try to understand them. Of course, understanding isn't the end in the beginning of everything. Rather than that, understanding is, well, a process really. It's like observing or learning or gathering information. It's perfect for the academic circles. Actually, if anything, if the academic circles trying to understand phenomena is a part of, their lives. But this doesn't mean that you have to be university level of education or have a jobs or a profession in the academics in order to have an understanding or practice understanding. The thing is that just because you understand someone doesn't mean that you have to also agree with them. I mean, you understand doesn't mean that you agree. Alright, let's go through this one again. Because yes, I can understand why another person maybe did something bad, but that doesn't mean that I have to agree with that person's actions. If anything, understanding is more about having able to find a reason why things happen or why someone may do things, but not mean acceptance, because understanding isn't acceptance. Understanding is a process in order to find more knowledge. Acceptance is a different thing altogether. You know what I mean? Acceptance is hard. Acceptance is not given by all to all. And acceptance is sometimes earned rather than automatically given. Perfect. But I do believe that if you're willing to work hard enough and persevere through the troubles, and you haven't been, hurting someone, and you're not actively seeking conflict, maybe you should just continue on with your own life. Like, you can be, I'm not necessarily saying that you are a doormat, of course not. I'm saying that you put in the effort in your work, and you're trying hard, and you live as much as a quiet life as you can, and you're not really a controversial individual, but sometimes people are nothing really. Maybe there is some reason that is particularly important. May not be willing to, say, yeah, congrats, or yeah, you're putting in the work, but then you have to ask yourself, for whom? For whom are you doing this all? Are you doing this for yourself, or are you doing this for others? Because if you're trying to get by, have a set of skills which you have improved on, and you're not really that controversial of a figure, and some people are, willing to get into conflict with you or be unwilling to interact with you regardless, then I just don't see the point of you caring. You know what I mean? You can continue on fine by your own with the people that do care about you. I don't understand if it is a job. Like, for example, some people it is their job to entertain all of others, and they care about what people may saying about them, but you just have to value the comments, Some may be overly positive, so those are really helpful. Some are overly negative, so those are really helpful. Then there are the in between, from which some you may learn things because they have nice constructive criticism, and from some you can learn nothing. So it seems that from a lot of these comments they may have to go to the trash, but there are some comments you can learn something. How one person can be like, I've been watching you for quite some time, I really like what you're doing, or I had a lot of fun, thank you very much, I thought this transition was a little bit weird, maybe little something needs to be improved on, you know? There's always something that you can learn, especially from others. But that doesn't mean that everything the other people will say, or you will say, doesn't matter, are praiseworthy or interesting to keep an eye on. If anything, you should try to distinguish which things which, and you should always try to be good with yourself, but in the same time critical enough so that you can, you know, apply things properly. Now, I know what you're saying, it's a balance thing, yes, but when we say balance, I'm not talking about 50-50, I'm talking about a nice analogy of things, you know? Put things into a nice, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, more of this, less of that, and boom, a perfect balance between things. But here's the key word that people get wrong. Do you hear? I said a perfect balance. That's not gonna be the case. It's not gonna be perfect, but it's gonna be a balance. And how do you sequence it? Because it is functional. You as a person will be functional. Your work, you're gonna be able to progress nicely. And of course, which one should I create? This one, I suppose. And of course, you will be able to continue with your life. There is no reason for you to not have a thick skin, but you should have a thick skin where it is required. Like if you are working with children, for example, I have heard that it can be quite you know, how can I say this? It can be difficult sometimes, but you cannot let it get out of you sometimes because they're kids. Yes, you're gonna teach them, and that's your objective at the end of the day, but there are some things that they do not know yet, so you're here to make sure that they do know, so that next time something happens, or if they will be able to improve their behavior and be able to socialize. Now, of course, I don't really know much about children, but I do read stuff. So yeah, for example, I don't think that's a good example, but I was away for 3 months because I had to do stuff and I missed streaming a lot, and I had all these ideas like, oh, I'm gonna put a new opening where I'm gonna be rolling around and I'm gonna have myself going back and forth, and I prepared those things. It wasn't a difficult part, by the way, and everything was going accordingly. But OBS had different plans, even for this stream, by the way, which I had this idea. But you know what? Okay, we're gonna pick up our stuff, dust them off, and continue on with our lives. Because what else can we do? Right? I'm not saying that everything has to be a success, or that it's okay if everything fails. I'm saying that you can continue your own trekking, even if you stumbled. But if you keep on stumbling, you need to figure things out. That is what I'm saying. And that was it. Wow, he's a very loud leader. Anyway, that was it for me. I was King Coin, and this was my advice giving stream, or rather, my grading and advice giving stream. Part of it was fun. It's gonna be stuff always, but hey, what can we do? It's not gonna have anything rolling around with sound in the background anymore. But I thought it was fun. Now, I would like to wish you a good night, a good day, a good afternoon, a good evening. Actually, it's evening first, right? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, a good day in general, a good night, some good rest, some good food, some fine company, some laughs, some games, some fun, and I hope you had a good day in general. If not, I wish you for good days in the future. This has been King Coin. I am very happy to be streaming again, and I wish that I will be able to give you some advice for your travels. As I'm going to say yet again, this has been King Coin, and I have to bid you adieu. Ta-da!